Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. We're continuing our journey in the Junkers 52. Today we're going from Munich to Hanover. About a 3-hour flight, give or take. Going to take a bit of time, but we'll get there when we get there, and then we'll land and we'll wrap it up for today. So let's get in here. Let's change some stuff first. I want to do a little bit of the preset stuff. We're going to have a bit of just some scattered clouds. And we'll be on our way. Should be like well, where is a... You know what? Let's pick a typical spring day. Let's go with that. All right, let's get in here and get... Oh, you know what? I just want to see... Okay. Excuse me. Might be pretty quiet today in the chat, which is okay. Sorry, yeah, I was drinking in your ear. Apologize about that. Didn't mean to. I thought I muted myself. So, all right, let's get this off for starters. Actually, you know what? Because we're not going to get a pushback. Go ahead and let the co-pilot do the talking while we get things set up here. All right. Hopefully everybody's having a good middle of the week. Just got home, had an appointment this morning. Seemed like it took forever. Just got home a little while ago, was able to get me something to eat, and so we can get on our way here. Why isn't my co-pilot asked for clearance? All right, we need to tune in our first beacon here. It's 111. All right. Oops. Oh. Right. And then we want to go to a heading of, well, we'll get it in the air and we'll get things going here. All right. We got moving, and all of a sudden, there we go. Turn around here, and it should show us our taxi. There it is. And there we go. So tomorrow we'll continue our journey to Berlin, and then we will park the Junkers 52 for a few weeks. April we will pick it back up, and we will be on our way from Berlin. We're gonna do some flights. We're going to end up in Athens, Greece, I believe is the final destination. It's a real-world Lufthansa route that was flown when this aircraft was actually in service with Lufthansa. I'm going to try to just cut right through here because I don't see any reason why we can't. Save a little bit of time with the taxiing. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of rainstorms along the way here. Or 80. Oh, you know what we need to do? Almost forgot. All right. All the other lights on? I think I do. There we go. Now everything should be on. Oops. We need something else on. There we go. There it is. Yep, we'll rain. A little bit of rain on the windshield now. All right, away we go. Forgot to put the flaps down. I knew I forgot something else. And away we go. Right, we need to make a turn to heading 342. Make sure that is on. All right. Oh, Crankman. Oh. No worries. Do what you gotta do. It's all good. We've got like a 3-hour flight roughly, so plenty of time. Should be. We are on our way. Alright, so this part, 24 nautical miles, and we go 58 nautical miles. Our largest chunk of the flight is going to be 163 nautical miles. So we have quite a ways to go. I'm trying to think, did I... that stuff set. I don't think many people are going to pop in today because this is going to be a bit of a long flight and this thing does not fly very fast. It's okay. This is how it was done many moons ago, as they like to say. All right. Try to get in line here. Alright, make sure everything else is where it needs to be. We can turn off our lights now. This thing to go to the... It skips it for some reason. Come on. Why does it keep going? Just want to make sure we have all of our stuff on. Should. I think so. All right. Hmm. Something doesn't feel like it's working. I don't know why. It's all working. Hello, LeBron James Rizzo? I think I'm seeing that right. Rizzo. Welcome. This isn't. Oh, we're just going to follow this along. I feel like something's not working though. I don't know why. I think we kind of stabled off here at about 77, almost 7,800 feet. So we should be able to just kind of cruise right here. We should be turning pretty soon for our next heading. It's supposed to be DME. So there's IGL. So we're only going to make a slight change. We're not going to really turn all that much. I think I wrote the numbers down on the wrong spots. Maybe this is supposed to be 337. Yeah, I think the next one's 342. And we need to dial in 11490. Turn. Start to lose altitude, just turn. I don't know why it turned and then started dipping down. Sometimes it does that. Alright, so this one going to be about 58 nautical miles. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get there. This is our second longest leg. Other one's going to be 163 nautical miles. So I apologize that yesterday's flight was canceled. I didn't sleep well going into Tuesday morning, so I just thought I would cancel it just so that I don't get short-tempered and snap at people and whatnot. It wouldn't have done any good. So we will make that flight up in April. Right, there we go. We are on our way there. It doesn't sound like we are going to... It might be we're pretty far off from it, so we may not pick it up right away. Keep Oh. We could see Echo Tango Tango 1 on our little VFR map there. Let's see if we have an updated altimeter reading. 29 or 88, still the same. It seems like we were supposed to be flying through some rainstorms, but we got a little bit of rain when we were on the ground there in Munich, and so far it seems like we've been flying through some storms, or just some rainfall, but nothing has hit the plane. So I'm not sure why that is. This AC is far too slow to crash. Try opening the sunroof. No, I'm not opening the sunroof. So, but thank you for the suggestion. If you want to open the sunroof when you're flying, you're more than welcome to, but that's not what we're doing today. Just because it's slow does not mean it won't crash. That's not what we try to do here. I know where it is, Baron Flying Club, but I'm not opening it. So, but thank you for the suggestion. We're going to cruise right the way we are. It's not a reasonable request. Well, then that's your choice. I choose to keep it closed. You're more than welcome to fly however you see fit. That's the beauty of this game, this simulator. Let's have a look outside here. Yeah, cruising about here, 9,200 feet. Well, you always fly in VR. Well, I'm on the Xbox Series S. I do not have a VR system, so that's awesome, though. You will never go back. Well, if I could afford it, I would, but I can't afford that right now. My plan is eventually to get a PC system together and get away from the Xbox because it's just we're too limited on the Xbox, unfortunately, with what we get and everything. So my plan is eventually, if I can get the money together, we'll have a PC system. But I don't know that I'd want to fly VR because when I stream, it's not always easy to do. So I prefer to fly this way so that people can kind of see what's going on as well. Maybe there is a way to do it, but right now I prefer to do it this way. I know plenty of people in the forums do like the VR. Alright, thank you, Baron. Thank you for stopping by. A lot of people who have the VR really enjoy it. There's no doubt about it. And, I don't know if it'd be something that I'd be interested in. It's a lot of extra equipment and whatnot. Apparently it's got its own issues with the sim. Quite a bit of ways to go to our next. Something that was working yesterday doesn't seem like it's working today, but I don't know. The only thing I don't like is I wish there was there's a light here, but I don't think you can turn it on. At least I've not seen the switch for it. Let's see, it's almost 4, so it's probably 4 or 5 in the evening. What's the timing? Let's have a look here. I need to do a couple things first. Flying. Alright, also, let's have a look. Time. This is the local time in... So, 18 minutes to 5 in the evening, so, okay. So it's probably going to be near sunset by the time we get there, which is fine. Make for an exciting landing, that's for sure. easily get off track here. Right. Boy. Guessing there's enough wind to push us off course there. All right. So yeah, we'll be back in this tomorrow. Friday, we got 2 flights. Both of those will be in the A320. So those of you who are looking for some jetliner action, we'll be back at it this Friday. First flight is from Mexico City to San Antonio. Second flight will be LAX to Las Vegas. So Los Angeles to Las Vegas. Saturday, Spitfire Saturday, we are doing a flight from Travis Air Force Base to Beale Air Force Base in California. Scenic Sunday, we're taking a flying tour of Amsterdam. And then we will pop over into one of the other classic planes here. We'll be taking the Fokker F7B 3M from Amsterdam to Brussels. No flight this coming a week from today. And 22nd, we're jetliner again, A320 going from JFK, New York to Nashville. And then Thursday, the Beechcraft D-17 going from Raleigh, Durham to Wilmington. And then Friday, we're doing a flight in the 737 MAX going from Salt Lake City to Seattle. And then Saturday, Spitfires again. Sunday will be our flying tour of the 27th of March, flying tour of Berlin. And then we'll be back in the Junkers 52 on the 28th, going from Berlin to Vienna. And so we will be doing, that's the first stage of that flight. So yeah, lots of good stuff coming up. Now the cool thing about the Fokker plane, the tri-motor plane, somewhat similar to this, but the wing is higher. It's not a low wing, it's a high wing plane. But the navigation system's a little more modern than this one. I mean, this works, but it's a bit. The other one, the Fokker, has the actual digital panel for your VOR stuff, so that should make things a little bit easier. So tomorrow is the weekly update. Not sure what we're getting. Rumor has it that the Xbox will get the P38 possibly tomorrow, maybe next week. But it is forthcoming apparently, according to the developers. It's been submitted. I think they've not received anything back from Microsoft to say, hey, you need to work on this or whatever. So that'll be nice. I was kind of really jonesing for more jetliner stuff, but the more I've been flying general aviation stuff, I kind of prefer this over the jetliner. Mainly because the jetliner, you just pop in, start everything up once you're airborne. And in some of the general aviation aircraft, it does have an autopilot system, but older stuff like this, there is no autopilot. You got to really pay attention to your course and everything, and if you're deviating too much, you got to correct it. Otherwise, you're going to be way off course. And back in the day, that meant you missed your destination, or maybe excuse me, a fuel stop along the way. So if you overshot that, you were in danger of running out of fuel. And so yeah, I got to be really kind of pay attention to this kind of flying. Whereas the ones with the autopilot, which is nice, the plane corrects itself, and which is great. But here we got to really keep an eye on which way we're flying in order to get to our destination safely. So again, once we get up to ERL, we're going to make a slight turn, nothing too severe, and That's going to be for 163 nautical miles. That's going to be our longest part of the flight. Kind of quiet in the chat, which is okay. People will be here whenever they see fit. If so, if they feel thank you all for the 3 likes so far. Appreciate it. We do try to fly 7 days a week whenever possible. We should be coming up pretty soon, I think, for our next leg here. Now it's kind of hard to tell. I don't think those are mountains. We're not far enough south in Germany to be going over the Alps or anything. So we will monitor. I think it's just there's a lot of cloud cover, or maybe there's rain right there, and it just appears like there's a major mountains or something in front of us, but I don't think that is the case. There's some low-lying hills, of course, but nothing too severe to deal with. It's not that I can think of. We will keep an eye on that. Looks like there's a storm right there. Look at those dark clouds. Interesting. So the weather is developing on its own. So it looks like, let's see, 190, 170, 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay. So it looks like we're doing about 180 or 180 kilometers an hour. Should be about 90 something knots. Could try to determine how long it would take for. Matter of fact, let's just see if I can figure that out real quick while we're. So if we are doing. Know the wind speed. Let's see if we are doing it's 163 speed. Missing 91. I guess that would be about right, but I don't know which way the wind is coming from. That's the only thing. I could try to look it up. That's the unfortunate part about on the Xbox. So on the PC side, there's way more things that you can overlay onto your flight information that you can, when you're flying a plane like this, you can calculate your. Okay, there's our marker, ERL. That's the one we were looking for. So we were there. Ta-da. We are just going to continue. Let's tune in. 5. Oops. Oh, that's probably why it didn't work. I was at the wrong. Should be. I didn't change this part. 114. 45. There's our next one. Okay. I didn't, no wonder why it wasn't picking up. I was off, I didn't tune in the frequency correctly for our, oops-a-daisy. It's like, why isn't it working? Now we know why. Look at these clouds we're getting ready to fly through. This is going to be fun. So now things are working as intended. That's what happens when you don't have it tuned in correctly. I wonder if we're going to get a little bit of a bump in of turbulence here. We might. Let's see, 341 should be our heading. There we go. Wow, look at that. Ooh, a little bit of ice on the... I don't think there's the froster. I think. This is supposed to be springtime weather. The good thing is, okay, so now that's picking up our new VOR, the one we're heading to, so that will tell us when we are close. So the reason why we're going to do the trip to Athens, Greece. So I had posted, I did in the forums, I'd done this flight. You know, we flew to Munich the other day, and so I posted in the forums, and somebody said, "Oh, I've been doing a similar flight, but they had looked up the actual travel routes of the Lufthansa during the service of this aircraft, and they've been doing, you know, just each leg the day at a time, I guess." So yeah, they've been doing that. So I was like, oh, you know, that might be a good idea. So we will continue our flight in the Junkers as time goes on. I'd really like to see some more aircraft like this and the Fokker 7B. It feels like it's a complicated plane to fly, but it's really not. It's just that you got to really pay attention to your, you know, the wind can blow you off course very easily. So if you're not watching your stuff, you can be way off, and then you got to turn back quite a bit. So you're wasting fuel, essentially. Ice switch here somewhere. I might be wrong. That's alright. It's all cleared up though. have a look outside here in a moment. Trying to keep our plane on track here as much as possible. There we are. Check the weather here in Hanover. Oops, I'm getting off track again. What was I looking for? I forgot what I was going to look up. Oh well. Maybe it'll come to me later. Ooh, wow. Somehow it just nosed over. We still got 140 nautical miles, roughly, to our marker. So we about 20 nautical miles into this leg of the trip. Wow, it did it again. Wow, this thing is really touchy today. It's like every time I get it online, all of a sudden it blows off, and the next thing I know, I'm nosing over. I wonder if I'm trying to make those slight adjustments for the turn to line up on the track there, if it's if I'm pushing a little bit, even a little bit forward on the thumbstick here, and it's causing it to there it goes again. Must be just something I'm doing, just even the slightest little push forward, it seems, just sends this thing into a... Yeah, there it goes again. I don't have the icing turned on, but I don't think there's a... I don't think. Let me look. I don't think there is. Carburetor heat. Ah, anti-ice engine. That's for the engines. I don't think we need that. I was just wondering if there was a defroster. I don't think there is. I think they would just kind of dive down at a lower altitude until the ice stopped. It looks like we got some altitude back here. Some really chilly air up here. Looking forward to the next leg tonight with Captain Arish in Australia. It looks like we're going to have some really neat scenery for that flight. looking forward to seeing how what we're going to see today as we fly over Australia. Thomas, hello, Thomas the Ginger Horse. Okay, interesting name. Hello, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Just cruising here over Germany. Insert horse noise. Okay. Thank you all for those of you who popped in to have a look, watch what we're doing here. Or watch what I'm doing, I should say, not we, I. Everybody's having a great Wednesday. Morning, afternoon, well, it's not morning, well, yeah, it still is on the West Coast, I guess. Yeah, it's still morning on the West Coast. I can't think, because I don't have the ice thing turned on, so it shouldn't be doing anything to see. We are 127-ish nautical miles from our. So the good thing is the marker that we're on our way to the VOR station. From there, it's just a quick run to the airport there in Hanover. So it's only 15 nautical miles. So once we get a little bit closer, we're going to have to start dumping some altitude so that we get below the cloud cover here, so we can see the airport. And we can. I know which way the runway's lined up. So as soon as we find that, we'll turn into for our approach, and we'll put it on the ground, and then we'll be done for the day. We still got another couple hours to go. About an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, close to 2 hours. As long as we don't deviate too far off course, and we have to make a lot of major adjustments, then I think we'll be okay. Something must be happening because it. I want to get this plane kind of settled a little bit more. Pick up a little bit of speed, but I don't want it dropping out the sky either. If it's a slight descent, very slight descent, then it'll be okay. Could live with that. We'll see, there it goes now. Wow. did it again. All I was trying to do was just turn into the track. See, now there it goes again. I kind of feel like there's ice on the engine or something. Like it's losing speed and it's losing altitude. So let's go over here. Let's put some anti-ice on. Not that we should have to, but just on the off chance. Hello, Dario. You're still... That's not our approach. It's got to be another airport nearby. Alright. We're pretty close, so we'll stay right here. Let's see, we've got 120 nautical miles to go to our next markers, so I am going to step away for just a moment. Oh, there it goes again. Wow. This thing is acting all kinds of weird today. Let me try to get this kind of pointed in the right direction, then I'm going to step away for just a moment. There it goes again. Alright, I'll be right back, folks. Alright, I'm back. Let's see here. If I... Let's try to turn back here. We're kind of heading in the right direction. See, nope, there it goes again. Just trying to turn it to get it back on track. For whatever reason, it just wants to nose over. So I don't know why that would be. Well, this thing is really a handful to fly now all of a sudden. Before it was like we would just kind of get on the track and it would be fine. Now all of a sudden, I don't know, it's like the plane is icing up and it might be heavier maybe? I don't know. But I don't know why there would be ice. It's supposed to be a spring day. There shouldn't be this kind of cold weather. I wouldn't expect. Alright, let's just try to stay right here. Nope. That just must be very minuscule turns or something I'm making, but it should be right. It's like it's either overreacting or underreacting, you know. Let's just have a look here. Let's maybe dial this up to 50%. See if that kind of clears things up. I wish there was a defroster for the window though. Well, I'm flying VFR. Yeah, I'm not flying VR. I'm not in virtual reality. VFR it's not the same as VFR. I'm trying to follow this line, but I'm trying to keep the plane on track using VOR to VOR, which is a different kind. It's almost like VFR or IFR flying, but the plane has been acting kind of crazy here the last couple minutes or so. It's like it wants to just nose over. I don't know if it's like it's supposedly heavy with ice or what, but we've lost some engine, lost a little bit of speed, but it seems like we're right about where we were before. We still got 108 nautical miles to our marker, our next waypoint, I should say. Right, maybe the plane's finally settled a little bit. All right. All right. Take care, Dario. Bonjour. Banjo Olympics. Okay. A good flying and icing visit. Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird because it's just suddenly, it's been getting icy, but I have like springtime weather set, so I'm not sure why there would be icing. I could understand if maybe we were like at 18,000 feet, but I wouldn't expect it at this level. So I don't know. Something's not right. Hopefully we are past it. We are still on our way. We still got a bit to go. I can still basically make out the... I think once we get lower in altitude again, once we get close to our destination, I think the icing will dissipate and we'll be fine. It'd be really nice if there was a some kind of a defroster, but I don't think there is. I think they would, if they started ice up, they would just drop altitude and get to a safe altitude if they could. I don't have the 767. If future, here's the thing. I appreciate your idea. If you read below the video, there's a description. It will tell you all about my stream, basically, and what I have and everything. So... just to make it clear, though, I am on the Xbox Series S. I don't have everything that the PC folks have. That's why I put all that information in there, because a lot of people come in and say, well, can you fly this? And I had to keep repeating myself that I don't have all the same things that the PC folks have. And I don't know that we will ever get all the same things that the PC folks have. That's the problem. But I don't, if you go back a little bit, I did a couple of long flights in the 747, but it's a lot for me to do. You know, I have to look after myself and you know, make sure I eat and take breaks and everything, and that's kind of difficult to do. Plus, you know, stay involved with the chat and everything else. So a lot of those big jetliners, I know that people want to see them because it's more exciting for whatever reason than this, even though the jetliners are very much automated. You take off, you hit the switches, and you're on your way, and you don't really have to worry about much of anything other than climbing to your, you know, your altitudes and stuff. Well, good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, it's just I wanted to do all those things. I tried a couple of them, but it's just very... I think I did one going from Which one was it I did? I think when I did a flight from JFK to Frankfurt, that was about a 7.5 hour flight alone, but I was streaming for more like 8 or so hours. It's a lot, for me to do in one sitting. So I appreciate that people want to see all that kind of stuff, but it's very difficult for me to do on my own. And to, because I have to take breaks, I have to, use the restroom, I have to eat, all those things. So, but yeah, I don't, I'm okay with not doing like we're doing a couple A320 flights this Friday. We're doing a 737 MAX next Friday. Those are going to be a couple hours, roughly, 3.5 or something like that. That's fine for me. It's just I can't do the long stuff and stream it and try to do all the things that I need to do to take care of myself and all that during the stream. So that flight, by the time I got to Germany, I was just really worn out. So, and I wasn't eating. I was eating, but it wasn't probably very healthy stuff to be snacking on. So that was part of the problem. But yeah, I know everybody wants to see different things, and I just follow my. Well, I have a lot of people I follow already, and part of the problem is I follow so many different people who ask for the same thing. Future, it's like I can't, it's like I'm trying to fit everybody in and watch and stuff, and I can't get to everybody. That's the problem, and I don't want to live on YouTube either. That's not very healthy, and spend hours and hours and hours and just, it's not. But good luck to you. I hope it goes well. That's awesome. If that's your idea, then hopefully, I think you'll find an audience that wants to see those sorts of things, no doubt. But yeah, I think after a while it gets kind of tiring, to be honest. And it's not easy to do. And I think a lot of people that make the suggestions like that, they're not, either they don't have the sim themselves, they don't have a PC or an Xbox to be able to do all that, nor would they ever stream it. But they want to see everybody else do it. It's kind of like, well, if you want to do it, why aren't you doing it yourself? So, but I get it. I understand that people from all over the world who like to watch these sorts of things don't have that ability. But, it does take a lot. And I think people don't understand that. They just think, but it's a video game. You should be able to do it, no problem. Well, yeah, in theory, that's true, but that's not really reality. It does take a lot out of you. You're right. You have to stay hydrated. You got to take your breaks. You got to, stretch. You got to move around, because if you don't, you're gonna be hunched over. You're just gonna be like, by the time it's all over with, you're just gonna be worn out. So I don't think people appreciate the amount of what goes into something like that. But they want to see it, but they're, it's but I think there's an audience out there who enjoys that. But they may, I think the thing is, they want to see you take off and they want to see you land. They don't care about the in-between part where there's nobody in the chat really. You're like looking around, you're like, okay, who am I talking to, or who should I be, nobody's talking to you to interact with you to kind of keep things going. But yeah, the people who ask for that stuff, I don't think they really put much thought into the the thing about making money is that you have to build up a large enough audience to monetize your stream. and that takes time. So at first, you're going to do all this stuff, and a few people may come in, and then maybe, you start to build up your audience. But then, out of those, how many of those people are going to donate money to you? That's the difficult part. You can't rely on the whole audience, because you may have it may be made up a lot of kids. They can't donate to you. If they do, it's on their parents' credit card, and that all kinds of problems are going to arise from that they abuse their parents' credit card. So yeah, you could ask for donations, but some people may give, but it's going to be few and far between, I think. There it goes again. It's starting to nose over. Well, you know what? I'm just going to let it do it for a little bit. Yeah, that's the difficult part. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that you want to do and all that, but it's a bit. I think everybody starts off thinking, oh, they got this big dream and they're gonna make some money on YouTube, and I think it's very difficult. You kind of have to set yourself apart, but I think after a while, when it doesn't start to happen very quickly, then it's like it can be very demoralizing, I guess. So I think it's just I've got 200 and some odd subscribers here on, I think, 230 something, and some people say, well, I hope you reach 1 million. I don't want to reach 1 million subscribers. That's a lot of people, and then you have a lot of people who come into chat just causing all kinds of drama as well. So it is what it is, but I don't know that I'd want to have that many followers, because then it just opens you up to all kinds of issues. You got to have a lot of people, mods, who can be there for the entire time, and that's not always easy to find people who can moderate the channel, and then trying to do it on your own is not very easy either. So, especially when you're trying to fly. I was hoping the ice would have cleared up a little bit, but it has not. I think what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to come off the throttle a little bit. Let's see if we drop a little bit of altitude. If we can do it very slowly, I think I'll be okay with that. I don't want it to go too fast. Yeah, and I've had that problem in the past, unfortunately, where kids have come in and gotten very chaotic, and it's like you try to be reasonable with them. They don't like to listen to reason. They get very snappy and stuff, and so I prefer. I've got a good group, I think, right now. I know, like, all 200 and some odd people all of them don't come in and watch at the same time, which is fine, but for a while there, it was getting really, kids coming in just acting up, and it was like, I can't have it. So, but I think things have kind of settled down for the time being. But it's like they pop around and they find, hello, Mick. No one knows. Okay, well, don't get in trouble with the wife, Mick. But I'm happy to see you here. Tell him you're watching your old friend Ron. Tell your wife that. Oh, I finally caught up with my old friend Ron, and see if that gets you out of trouble. But yeah, it's been there was a few months where it was just really difficult, and I've had to basically kind of remove people from the channel because they were getting too chaotic, and I couldn't have that. So yeah. All right, now we're on a nice slow descent. That's the good thing. So we will start dropping a little bit altitude here. We've got 80 nautical miles to our waypoint there. So hopefully by the time we get there, we will be and I know I've seen a couple people fly with VATSIM on, and I think what it is too, generally the folks who do all that kind of stuff, they have a more mature audience, I guess, in a way, that understands that this person is trying to do all these things, and they'll catch up to the chat. Like when I'm landing, for instance, I don't look at the chat, because if I'm looking at the chat and try to pay attention to what's going on the screen, I'm going to miss something, or I'm going to miss my approach, or I'm going to crash or whatever, and then it's like, great, all that time I spent just wasted. So I try to be clear to people that, hey, during this portion of the flight, I'm not going to be looking at the chat so much, because I'm getting ready to do this, and my attention needs to be there, not looking at the chat and trying to pay attention to what's going on in front of me. So especially when we can't see, if the airport's covered over, in this sort of mess, we'll be out here trying to look for it, and if people are getting silly in the chat, that doesn't help me at all. So yeah, it's a handful to deal with, but if you've got a good mod crew, or you just have to tell people, hey, this is it is what it is, and I'm sorry if you don't like the rules, but those are the rules. You're a guest here in my stream. It's not the other way around. So yeah, I think, like, I've watched who is it? I follow him on Twitch. Who is it? His name is I can't remember what he put up. There we go. 757 Spy. He does a lot of that stuff with VATSIM, I think. And but yeah, I think generally the viewers are a bit more mature. So, but yeah, because I think a lot of those people who watch him also fly with him, because I think he opens it up for multiplayer, so they're not really engaged with the screen record. And yeah, well, I was trying to think of different ways. I stream on Twitch through Aircast to YouTube, because otherwise what I was doing is it would go on Twitch, and then I would have to download it, upload it to YouTube. It'd have to go through all the checks and everything, and it would take a long time. And so after a while, I'm just like, I think I'm just going to do it. I found a way to do it. But yeah, I've had problems on Twitch. I've had problems on YouTube. It's like, you just never know which way, where the silliness is going to come from, unfortunately. And but yeah, it's just after a while, I think they kind of gave up, and they've gone, either they're back in school, or whatever. But it's like it's I think during the summers when it's going to get worse again, because kids will be home, they'll be bored, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go in here and stir up trouble, and so. But yeah, like when I first started, like after a while, what happened was a lot of people would come in and say, can you do this? Can you do that? And a lot of people assumed that I was on the PC, and I'd have to be like, no, I'm on Xbox. So I went through this process of trying to create a whole spiel there in the description section that covers a lot of that sort of stuff. And sometimes people just don't read it, you know. And it is what it is. Right, we're down to about 9,000 feet. We're still losing a little bit of altitude. I think the sun looks like it's over here somewhere, but it's behind the clouds. Oh, there it is, right there. I saw a sliver of it. But yeah, I think summertime is when it's going to get goofy again, unfortunately. But I could be wrong. But hopefully, if people can travel again, a lot of those kids will be gone on vacation with their families, and they won't be at the computer 24/7, you know, looking to stir up trouble. So. Yeah, it was, but yeah, I definitely want to get a PC at some point. There's just way more stuff, and it just, and some of the companies who've released stuff for Flight Sim have said that they're not looking to put their product on the Xbox. So we're losing out on a lot of things, unfortunately, and, or maybe they'll change their mind in the future, but there's no telling, you know, if that will take place or not. So I try to, if I could get the money together, I'd like to get a nice PC system, and I'd like to get the peripherals, you know, like the yoke, the pedals, the throttle stuff, and, you know, like a lot of people have those, like, they build up a little cockpit, basically. It's got all the stuff that you could turn the dials and stuff, and it's usually, some of it's centered around general aviation. Some people have stuff that is strictly for you know, flying jetliners, and like, yeah, it would be really nice, but like some people say it took them years just to get the whole system together, you know, because they had to find different things. And see, start to nose over again a little bit. Okay, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's a lot to do. I just want, I'm a bit I think I'm getting a little impatient, but as long as I still get some general aviation aircraft in the meantime, I think I'll be okay with it. Especially classic stuff like the Junkers. I'm starting to enjoy this a lot more. It's slow, you know, it's okay. It does take getting a little bit used to flying, but it's not so bad. You have to block them out and drone footage on there when you can look in the tower. Yeah, there's just way more to do in the PC, and it's just I'm losing hope that things will turn around. It's starting to, kind of, but it's like we take 2 steps forward and 10 steps back, you know, on the Xbox side, it seems. So I don't really know what the, you know, a lot of people feel hopeful for the future of the sim on the Xbox, but I don't think, I don't think they can kind of keep going the way it's going, and you know, so yeah, it's just way more. You can use the mouse to zoom in. I'm trying to do everything on the controller, and it's not very easy, you know, because if you do one thing with the controller, like if I'm zoomed in and I try to move, you know, if I go like here and I zoom in and I try to move this, you know, like this way with it, it will act like I'm steering the aircraft, and next thing I know, I'm losing altitude, and I'm good. It's like the plane's out of control. All right, looks like the ice is finally coming off since we kind of lost some altitude here. But yeah, it's weird that that layer just had some really icy air. So it was a little bit colder than I would have thought it would have been, but that's okay. So yeah, it's starting to clear up now. Yeah, yeah, it's just well, I was excited because, you know, the way it was marketed was we will have the same experience as the PC. And then as time went on, it became very clear that that was not going to be the case. And then it really kind of came to the forefront when the whole thing happened with the DC6 from PMDG. That's when all of a sudden the facade kind of came down, that there was some problems getting stuff tested on the Xbox. And then it was like, okay, now everybody kind of understands what the issues are. Hello, Willie. But, you know, Jorg said, well, the long-term fix would take, you know, to fix it really good, it's going to take them at least a year to sort it out. But they think they have a short-term fix in the meantime that hopefully will work, and they can bring things like the DC6. But that's still months off. And he didn't say, well, it could be 3 months. It's like, it's down the road. We're working on it. We're testing it. And if we can get to a point where it's stable, we can do that. And then we can start bringing these other things to the Xbox. Otherwise, I think they're worried now that they're going to start losing customers on the Xbox. Either people are just going to stop playing, or they're going to finally give up and go like, okay, I'll go get a PC. Which helps them because it's PC sales, you know. So for them, it's a win. But for the consumer, it's like, well, the Xbox only cost me a couple $100, you know, like $350 maybe or something. That's more reasonable than trying to put together a whole PC system. So I think they're trying, but I don't know at this point. We may be at the point of almost too little, too late. Especially because we're nearing, before we know it, we're going to complete the first year of the sim on the Xbox. And if there's not, I think by that time, or maybe even a month afterwards, if there's not some significant improvements, then I think people are just going to be like, I'm done. They're going to give up. They'll stop playing the sim, and then their player count's going to go down, and those folks will never come back. You know, they'll remove it from their Xbox, and that'll be the end of it. So. Alright, looks like the icing has finally dissipated. I'm going to go ahead and put this back to 0. I don't think we need it anymore because we are good to go. Alright, there we are. We are finally in. Look at that. Wow. Look at those clouds all around. We're right in the middle of this whole weird cloud field. Wow. I've got the Series X. For the life of me, I can't figure out how to navigate the flight setup screen with the controller. Are you talking about creating a fly, you know, like a route map, or, you know, putting together a route? Or I'm not sure what you mean by that, Willie. If you could elaborate a little bit, I'll try to see if I can't work with you through it. trying to talk here, man. But yeah, if you could kind of tell me exactly where are you having the issues. Since I'm on the Series S, before we wrap up the stream, I can try to walk through some things with you. Airplane selection. Okay. Well, there's a very simplified way to do airplane and create your flight plan. Okay, and once we're done, I'm going to show you. I'll give you kind of a walkthrough of how the simplest way to do it, at least from my perspective. But there's, you can, if you tab over to the right, it'll have your hangar, and then you can select your different aircraft from there. But sometimes this is easier. You're like, okay, I want to fly this, and I'm going to fly from here to here. Or let's say you build the flight plan, you're like, I don't want to fly the plane I was going to. Maybe I want to try something different. So I'll show you how to do all that once we land. So if you want to hang out, we're still, we are, 54 nautical miles to our waypoint there, and then we have another 15. But yeah, I can go through that with you real quick. That's not a problem at all. It can be a lot to deal with at first, but initially the way they had the menus set up, it's changed, and they've tried to simplify it. So. It is a little bit simpler, but it took a little bit getting used to where everything was. They've changed stuff, and even like the marketplace menu has changed since the last update, the world update. I think is when they changed the menu for your for the marketplace. I 20 years experience simmer. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can. We'll go through that. I'll see if I can't help you out, Willie. It's fine. It's not a problem at all. Glad to help out. So if you want to hang out in the stream until we land, you're more than welcome to. Or if you, what I'll do is, see, if you're having problems moving around the menu with the controller, because in the menus generally you'll have what looks like this, right? The bigger circle with the dot in the middle, and so you use your left stick to move around, and so you can select like your different areas, right, on the menu. You just highlight it and you push the A button. But sometimes I've seen that before where it seems like it's not, it's like sticking or something, and it's like where's my cursor at, basically. And that's the way I think of it. So that's how, but you can navigate as far as you're going. There's 3 different menus, and you just tab, either you hit the right or left bumper up at the top of your controller, and that'll take you to the 3 different sections of the menu. You have your flight stuff, then you have your profile, your hangar, the content stuff, and your flight log, and then the other one is the all the settings for the sim. Whether you wanted everything to be ultra realistic, turn on all the failures and everything and fly it like, you have to work through an engine failure or whatever. But the main menu, you can do everything in the main menu, but I think it's the once you have that cursor that looks like that, you just use the left stick, and then once you're over the area that you want to interact with, you just hit the A button, and that should open it up. And then I'll show you the drop down menu, or like you just search for the airports, the 4-letter code, for instance. And then you can decide if you want to do VFR, IFR, or VOR to VOR, IFR low altitude, or IFR high altitude. So we are here. Our marker there, SAS. Yeah, it looks like the ice finally gave up, so I think we are in a good place. Plane is acting normal. Okay, because sometimes, for whatever reason, it may just be hidden in one of the corners, but and I've had that happen before. I'm like, where's my, and you just move the left thumbstick around and it should pop up. Now, are you using a keyboard and a mouse aside from the controller, Willie? So I know sometimes the mouse, folks using the mouse have had issues with the cursor. So if you have a mouse plugged in as well, that might be part of the problem too. But the other thing too, if I can't help you figure it out, if you scroll down to the bottom of the description of today's video, Willie, there's a link to the forums, and you can, if I can't help you, somebody there might be able to help you out. Because they have, they've got people who have quite the experience, and no, just a controller. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because otherwise you may need to contact them. It's either a problem with the Xbox itself or a problem. I don't know that it would. So if when you're outside of the sim, you're able to navigate, no problem. There's no issues, I'm guessing. Well, look at this color in this cloud here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, go there, because sometimes if you ask, you may have to put a trouble ticket in, or just ask a general question, or, like seeking help, and just tell them what the problem is, and somebody might say, well, try this, and it should clear it up, because some people may have had the very same issue, and they found a way to make it work. So, yeah, generally, I found that most of the problems there, somebody's run into it before, and has figured out a solution. I'm missing something, or possibly my legacy mouse setting on. That could be it. That might, the legacy mouse setting on your PC. Yeah, that could be it. So something's, yeah. I'm willing to bet that might be what it is. Well, maybe. I don't know. That's very possible, though. Now that I think about it. Yeah, that could be. Well, it looks like we're getting the ice again, even though we dropped altitude. Ice should be pretty much gone. Huh. I don't know what, I'm hearing something in the background where I'm like, it's almost like a street sweeper or something. I don't know. But yeah, there could be any number of things, but that's a weird one. But I'm only using the controller, and I think, like I said, there was one time where it felt like it was sticking, and I just moved it around. Or sometimes if you now let me ask you this, Willie, just out of curiosity, when you leave the sim, right? When you say you go in there and you mess around. Now, when you exit it, do you close it out of the quick play? Because sometimes that might be causing issues. There's a couple of people that have had that where they don't. When you exit out, there's a way to remove it from quick play, and that's the only way you completely sign out of the sim. So that may be part of it as well. If you're still showing the quick play thing, it might just be like. It might think that you're still in. Wow, the ice is back and we're still descending. Wow, this is crazy. Huh. I was not expecting this. So yeah, it's a weird. It's very touchy. It seems the sim is, because I would always go back in, like I wouldn't leave it, or I'd just go and play something different. But then when I'd go back in and say, "Well, you were disconnected," I'm like, "What?" So then I would thinking I had to restart my Xbox. It's if you clear out of the quick play, that may be what it is too. If you just exit all the way out of that, what you do is you go to your home menu, and then where you're trying to think, it's like up at the top right. If you click on it, I'm trying to remember what's the thing you click on, but it should give you like your I think it's, I don't know if it's the glowing X in the middle, but yeah, there should be a menu, and you'll see like it'll come down and say quick play. If you scroll down to that and you hit the, I think it's the 3-line button or the 2-square button, one of those, it should open up saying exit out of quick play, and then that should exit you out completely from the sim. Wow, I did not expect the, we're still losing altitude. We're at 9,500. It shouldn't be this icy at this level. Huh. Wow, look at this. We are in this weird weather here. But yeah, sometimes that might be it, because that may just unfreeze everything as well. That's weird. But yeah, if nothing else, I would check on the forums and see if somebody else might have a, because maybe you could also put in some screenshots, and somebody might be able to go like, oh yeah, I know what the problem is. Because it's kind of hard for me to see it when I'm trying to fly and think about what might be causing your problem. But yeah, that might solve it. Yeah, that might be a good idea too. Or see, well, I would check to see if maybe there's an update for your controller as well. That might be part of it as well. But that's what I was wondering, if maybe you had a mouse, you were using a mouse for anything that might be causing the issue. Because I know some people have had, even on the PC side, they've had issue with the mouse going missing, the cursor. So all right, 32 nautical miles, and we are going to turn to 327, dial in our final VOR setting, and we will be on our way. Do appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. Late flight today. Back at 6:30 tomorrow morning, 10:30 UK time. We'll continue in the Junkers 52, going from Hanover to Berlin. That shouldn't be a very long flight. I think this is like the biggest chunk for this stretch that I kind of put together on my own. But there'll be a couple flights when we get going to Athens where it's going to be pretty long stuff, like maybe 3 hours or something like that. Hopefully we are... Oh, I forgot. Tomorrow we're doing 2 flights. That's right. I totally forgot to write it down. First flight tomorrow, we are in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day. Oh, look, the lights came on. Yay. Finally. We have a little bit of light in here. Only took forever. So yes, we are in Ireland tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. We're going from Cork to Donegal, I think it is. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So yeah, we're going to go from yeah. Thanks, Mick. That's okay. I figured somebody's had the issue, and maybe somebody could have had a solution already. So yeah, that's our first flight, and then we will hop over from Hanover to Berlin. So 2 flights tomorrow. I don't know what I'm flying in yet. It'll be a surprise. Yeah, it'll be a surprise. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Yeah, that's yeah. So we'll be in Ireland first for St. Patrick's Day, and then we'll go over to Germany. So 6:30 Eastern, 10:30 UK time. I have an idea, but I'm not. It'll be a surprise. How about that? It'll be a St. Patty's Day surprise. I was looking at pictures on Instagram from Savannah. I miss Savannah because St. Patrick's Day there is just this huge event. I mean, it's like the week leading up to the parade, or the couple weeks. It's on the local news every night. They're talking about the upcoming parade, what they talk to the Grand Marshal of the parade. What are they doing, and how are the plans coming along, and that sort of stuff. And then the Grand Marshal goes to Forsyth Park with the kids, and they dump the green dye into the fountain, and the next thing, in like a minute or two, the water's all green, and that kind of is one of the big events of the week leading up to the parade. And yeah, it's a very big deal there. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of people, though. Oh, I couldn't do the day of the parade. It's just too many people. And you got people that just start getting drunk earlier in the day, and they're already acting foolish by noontime. It's just like, wow. So, all right, let's go ahead and try to drop a little bit more altitude here. We need to be well lower, I think, so that we can really see the airfield. Make sure we have an idea of how. I have an idea already how things are laid out, but when we make our approach, I want to make sure I have some clear landmarks to use for the landing. So that's the important part. Well, this has gone pretty good, other than the icing, which was a little worrying, but we got through that. I'm going to go ahead and turn my landing lights on, just so that we have a little bit of extra light outside. Not that I think it's really going to make much difference, but just we like to be a well-lit aircraft. There we go. Oh, I finally completed my 50 hours of nighttime flying. I did that. I did an hour flight yesterday evening to Marseille. Yeah, so I finally got my 50 hours of nighttime flying completed. Finally. So I got the achievement for that. That seemed like that took forever. So yeah, it seems like we're below that cold air again, cruising towards Hanover. I think there was a World War II movie with Harrison Ford, something about Hanover. Let's see if I can find his movies. It was called, when he was much younger, obviously. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, Hanover Street. Oh, it's Hanover Street, not in the town of Hanover. I thought it was the same Hanover, but apparently not. Alright, we are 19 nautical miles, so we should see it up there on the VFR map pretty soon. Our waypoint there. We will dial in the final one. And we will turn, and we will make our way. It should be a quick run to Hanover Airport. Do appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out today. It's been good. Been a little quiet, but that's okay. It was a later stream for me, so it's all good. I was able to get home, grab a quick bite to eat. Made myself a little sandwich, so otherwise I would have probably been like really bottoming out here. So yeah, other than the ice, this is really nice. I like the clouds. Look at that. You got the color in the sky. I still think that's one of the best things in this sim that they do very well. When it comes to this, the weather, and especially as the sun's setting or the sun's rising, the big jet TV guys at Anchorage. Oh. DC-6. I wonder if that's one of the ones from... No, it wouldn't be from Ice Pilots Northwest Territory. I don't know if they're even still running now, to be honest. Buffalo Airlines. Yeah, there's a couple of... I think there's some airlines that run DC-6 services because it can deal with the cold a little bit better than more modern aircraft. So it can get to places, it can land on the ice very well. You know, it's an absolutely amazing aircraft. That people are still flying them. You know, these big radial engine aircraft. So yeah, I really would like to get my hands on one here in the sim. That I watched Allison Johnson, and she was doing the one of the legs. It was like the longest leg they went from Brazil over to Dakar, and in the Electra 110 that like Amelia Earhart, I almost said Amelia Earhart flew back in the day. And I'm like, man, I would really love to be able to get that here on the Xbox. There's no indication that it'll ever come to the Xbox. The developer might be like, nah, not going to do it. But yeah, I really would like to get that, because the more I'm flying the general aviation stuff, it's more like, wow, it's a lot more fun, I think. At least we finally got the lights on here in the flight deck. Wish they'd been on a lot earlier. I like to have the lights on. Yeah, I think those big radial engines, there's just something different about it than a turboprop. You know, it just has that different feel to it, that You know, it's like this when Corvette had the 7-liter V8s, and the first time I went to an American Le Mans series, and that 7-liter V8 goes by you, and you don't just hear it, but you feel it. You know, that rumble of that big block V8, and you'll never forget it. And then as time went on, now it's just not the same. It doesn't sound the same. You know, or it doesn't even feel the same. All those visceral experiences, as I like to call it, there's something great about that. You know, and then people are like, well, it's too noisy, you know, but that's what racing should be. It should be loud and exciting, and, you know, like when I watched the the E Grand Prix, the electric GP or whatever, with those electronic GP cars, there was like no sound to it. I was like, it wasn't that exciting. The cars look cool, but I was just like, I want to hear the sound of the engine. I want to hear the gearbox shifting. And all you heard was this little whine of the flywheel or whatever that was putting power to the wheels. But it's just like, it didn't have that same feeling of watching an F1 race or even a IndyCar or Champ Car back in the day, you know. But I get it. People are like, this is the future. Well, I think the future kind of sucks. You know, I like the noise. I like the smell of those engines, and the hearing when they're wagging the engines and getting it, you know, like they're warming up the car before they go out on track and all those things. I think that's like the best part of all of it. But there's a generation of race fans that are going to grow up never having experienced that, and that's sad. I feel bad for them. You know, hopefully historic racing continues and they can actually go and say like, oh wow, this was actually really a lot of fun. You know, that's the kind of thing I like. They had an air show actually here near where I live some years ago. I've never been up there for it, to the airport. But I heard it's like generally they get a lot of cool stuff to show up, but it's a very small airport, so I don't know how much stuff really they could get to come in. You know, if when I lived in California at the former Moffett Naval Air Station, they had an air show, and I think they had a B-17 that came in. They had a B-26 also. You had some, you know, classic kind of stuff, but it was really neat. And, you know, if you paid the money, you could go for a ride in this B-17. You know. I wish I had the money, because I would have loved to have done that just once. That would be absolutely amazing. Alright, we are 7 now. Okay, any moment now is going to pop up on the screen, and we will churn towards our destination. Wow, this is really... Got the sunset, so we'll have a little bit of a night landing here. Nice. Well, at least the lights will be on. Somebody will have left the lights on for us there at the airport. So it should be kind of easy to pick out. So Hanover is EDDV. Should be coming up here any moment now. Yeah, we're still dropping some altitude. That's good. Hopefully by the time we get to our airport, we'll be low enough. We'll just make a nice... Now, what I could do, although it's going to throw off everything, Once we turn towards the airport, I'm gonna call in and ask for landing clearance, and that way we can figure out which way we're gonna go, or you know, at least we're clear, and then we'll fly over and then circle back in and land. I didn't even think about the time being a factor in this. Yeah, it's definitely close to 6 in the evening, I think, in Berlin. Oops. So it should be. Yeah, it's like 6:30 in the evening there. So they are 5 hours ahead instead of 6. So yeah, it'll definitely be just on the edge of sunset here. Well, it's already setting, but it'll probably be just about completely dark by the time we get there. Right, there's our marker there. So, Bick, are you guys trucking tonight? FIFA tonight? What's any plan, or is it a break night tonight? Any idea? Or do you still have to have a board meeting? That should be our marker there. So let's tune in. Let's go to our next one here. We want 11690. There we are, and we are on a heading at 327. Pretty much the way we are already flying now, according to this. Alright, according to this, we have 13 nautical miles. There we go. We are heading the right direction, pretty much. A new mellow game tonight, which will surprise people. Oh, okay. Good deal. Looking forward to having a look-see at that. Now, I thought these closed. I guess not. It is rolled up, like you could unroll them or something. But that way they can have some cover over the windows. I don't know if that's for parking, maybe. Oh. Maybe it's a sun block out the sun from overhead. Alright, let's see if we can go ahead and talk to Hanover now. We should be in... There they are. Alright, there we go. Alright, there's our pattern entry there. Well, that looks like, actually that looks like there's the runway right there. There's the end of it. Okay, well we're going to fly over. We still got a little bit of altitude to lose here. I'm going to go ahead and start slowing down a bit. Some flaps down so we can start losing more altitude. Alright, there's the pattern entry. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and turn that off. We're going to kind of figure it out on our own here. A surprise mellow game. Interesting. Can't think of what it would be. Or what's come out that might... Well, I think you guys have been picking stuff off of the PlayStation Plus or whatever it is. Like I guess it's the Xbox or the PlayStation version of Game Pass. Never made it to Hanover when I was in Germany. Not sure if there's anything exciting here. You mentioned the E formula and the other new stuff. I think I prefer the old vehicles because the sound and moving parts. Yeah, exactly, Nick. I agree with that. Well, it's just the like when I went to the Monterey Historics for a few years. You know, there's all that kind of hustle and bustle in the paddock area, and people are working on stuff, and you can kind of go by and watch them working on, you know, all kinds of classic cars, and you know, it's just not when it's an e-car, it just doesn't feel the same. It's kind of like, you know. But I get it. I understand that people want those things because it's an environmental thing and they're trying different stuff. But I when I watch it, because I was like, the cars look pretty cool. When I watched it, I'm like, just there was nothing to get excited about, you know. So yeah, just I couldn't do it. We really need to start losing some altitude here. I thought the airport was like right here somewhere. It doesn't look like it is just yet. We are 4 nautical miles. Should be coming into view. Yeah. Well, it started off in the late afternoon, and it's gone dark here over Hanover. So we were getting ready to make our way into Hanover here in a moment. We're just gonna fly over the airport, get a lay of the land, and then we'll turn in and put it on the ground. This is the part that everybody seems to like the most, the landing. Oops. Well, thank you for stopping by Digital Flight Deck. We're nearing the end of this flight. We'll be wrapping. Oh, I gotta see if I can't help. Or Willie, the viewer Willie Canuck. Is that correct? I think. Yeah. We're gonna see if we can't help him figure out a problem with his. All right, so our airport should be right to our. Over here to the right, looks like. I do not see. Okay, there it is, right there. That's our runway right there. Why is it not very well lit? That doesn't give me much hope. All right, so there it is, right there. Okay. All right, so I don't have. All right, I'm looking for something to kind of help guide us, because I kind of feel like once we pass it, the lights are gonna be kind of dim again. So we really need to. Okay, so this is the one we want right here, off to the right wingtips there. We're looking around YouTube and oh, cool. Well, glad you stopped by. Thank you. Yeah, that's happened before. A few people will suddenly they get a recommendation. They'll come in and hang out for a little bit, and some people will stick around for a while. Other people kind of like they pop in and then they disappear. So, but thank you for coming by. Alright, let's go ahead and I kind of think I want the taxi lights off now, to be honest. It's just too bright. I think I need to lower these lights just a smidge. Oh. Never mind. I think it's not going to... Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and get this plane turned around and line it up. Alright, so while I'm getting ready to land, I'm going to keep my eyes away from the chat. I'm not trying to ignore anybody personally, or it's not a personal slight. I'm just trying to get this thing on the ground. When I flew, yeah. Alright, let me focus on landing here. Looks like we got a little bit of rain, maybe? I see water streaks on the window, it looks like. There it is, right there. There's our runway. Perfect. This should be it right there. Yep. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. It's becoming a bit of a distraction. Now, I'm not doing a very proper approach here. but because it's night, I kind of cut the corner a little bit, I think. Alright, now we shouldn't hear that beeping anymore. I think all of our flaps, yep, we're all the way down on the flaps. Right, 2 white, 2 yellow, or red. Oops. Should be right where we need to be. A bit of a crosswind, it feels like. Wow. That was, wow. I was not expecting to, to hit the runway right then. I thought I was going to glide a little bit longer, but apparently not. Anyway, welcome to Hanover, Germany. Local time is 18:53 in the evening. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, we'd like to express our appreciation for you flying with us today. We understand and we appreciate the fact that you have many options when it comes to your Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream viewing pleasures. And we're glad that you chose to fly with us. Do join us tomorrow. We have 2 flights. First flight will be in Ireland, going from Cork to Donegal. Aircraft to be determined. It's a little bit difficult because it's hard. Sometimes it can be difficult to control the aircraft with the controller, but I've gotten a little bit better at it, I think. It's just, it takes a lot more finesse, I think. But it can be problematic sometimes. But all right, now we got some lights on. Now we can actually see where we're going. So yeah, 2 flights tomorrow. We're doing the flight over Ireland for St. Paddy's Day, and then we will pop over into the Junkers 52 and continue our flight from Hanover to Berlin. Yeah, it's not too bad. It took a lot of practice. That's the thing. Fuel? What? I asked for parking, not the fuel stop. Gee whiz. Guess that's the only parking spot they have. Yeah, it's not too bad. But my moderator Mick will tell you when I first started, I was all over the place. Like I had a heck of a time landing. So to land this plane in the dark is quite an achievement, I think. But yeah. Better hurry across there, little truck, whatever you are. I got places to be. But yeah, it's a little bit daunting with the controller, but if you work at it, it's not too bad. But when the time comes and I get a PC, I'm going to get all the bells and whistles, the you know, the yoke and everything. So which I'll have to, I feel like I'm going to have to learn how to fly all over again with the yoke and the pedals and all that. My goodness. I hate when they do that. Because then it like takes a moment for the accelerator to kick in. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was very difficult to judge the distance because I thought, well, I was trying to pull up over and make sure we got over the threshold, and then I was gonna, kind of flare, get off the throttle and flare, and then set it down. But it was like, bam! As soon as we crossed the threshold, we were like right there, and it's like, oh, that was interesting. That was kind of unexpected. So, but sometimes it works that way. And I like landing planes on like a longer runway. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that, Digital Flight Deck. Appreciate the sub. Yeah, we try to fly 7 days a week. Well, next week at this time, we will not be flying on a Wednesday. No flights on Wednesday. I have some stuff I need to take care of, and but we'll be back at it Thursday. The 1st and the 2nd of April, no flights at all. We will be back at it on the 3rd. I have to go in for a procedure on the 1st, and I'm not sure how I'm going to react to the anesthesia, so I'm just going to go ahead and say no flights on the 2nd, just to be on the safe side. We'll be back at it on the 3rd. We will kick things off with a... Matter of fact, I can tell you what we're doing on the 3rd. I think I've created my plan, 6543. Scenic Sunday. No, I don't know what I'm doing for Scenic Sunday, but we will find somewhere to go, some nice scenery or something. So yeah, we're gonna do a couple different things. We're gonna try to mix things up throughout the week. We're gonna try to do some classic aviation like this. We're gonna try to do some military aviation. Some what else? Some jetliner stuff. Just try to mix it up a little bit. So. And if we make mistakes, we make mistakes. It's all right. Stuff happens when you party naked in a flight sim. All right. And then once we're done, once we get this thing parked, and I'll shut everything off, and then we'll go see if I can't try to. Hopefully, unless he's figured it out, but. Do a run through on the creating a flight plan and everything for Willie. Hopefully he's still here. Willie, if you're still in the chat, give me a thumbs up. If not, hopefully what I'm about to show you helps in some way. Oops, yeah. All right, now I just got to find the batteries. It should be, there's one, there's two. Ta-da! Ooh, let me write down my flight time real quick. Hold on just a second here. See, we went from E to V. Flight time of 2 hours 39. 39:09. Okay. And it was all, it gave me only credit for day. It's still considered a daytime landing, which I don't think is true. But anyway, all right, give me just a second here now that I got that in. All right. Oops. Wait for Twitch to catch up. All right, let's go here and go to the main menu. Should have given me credit for a little bit of a nighttime flying, at least maybe 30 minutes or so. Okay, so Willie, here's the thing. So once you get your, so I'm using the left thumbstick here to get around to everything, right? So here's your marketplace. You know, you can purchase stuff from there or whatever. So world map, once you're able to do, and then you just type in the search for, so like, I'll go EDDV, which is Hanover, and then you select that, and it'll take you right to the airport. And then you can decide if you want to start on the runway or you can want to start on the in a parking spot. So like for instance, you can just go like, I want to start right here, right? And then it'll, ooh, that's not correct. It's not late time. Let me go ahead and put live. Okay. So you have that, and then you just pick a destination, or what I try to do is I try to kind of plan ahead, and so I write down I'm departing from and heading to. So we're going to go to EDDB, Berlin, Brandenburg. And then you just pick your runway for your arrival, whichever one. If you want ILS or RNAV approaches or whatever. I think this is the runway. Yep. Arrival. And then you can, from here, you can say I want it to be, you could go VFR, which is going to take about 2 hours to do. You can do VOR to VOR, or you can do low altitude airways IFR, or you can do high altitude IFR. And sometimes they'll give you like a couple different options as far as your routes. And then you can pick your departure, which way you're going to depart. If it's available, it'll give you your arrival. If it's direct, it'll say direct. And then if for your approach, you can pick your ILS, VOR, DME, localizers, you know, whichever one you want to pick. Otherwise, it'll just say automatic approach, and then you're going to have to call in and say, hey, I'm going to land here. And then it'll be a visual runway thing. So that's pretty much what you got to work with. And then you can also look at the markers. You can kind of see where everything is. You can do a filter, which should show like all the airspace, nav aids, and RNAV position fixes. So you can kind of get an idea if you really want to get that in depth about your flight planning. You could look at all the airspace, and you can say, oh, I don't want to fly through here, or I'm going to skirt around, and you could build it that way if you want to. Yeah. So there you are. But yeah, and then you can just hit the X button if you want to clear all that off. Yes. Oops. So you, yes, reset. And then for aircraft, if you go up here to this corner here, you can, aircraft selection will come down, and then you can just go through and figure out which ones you want to fly from your list of aircraft that you have in your inventory, basically, whatever it may be. And then you pick that. You can pick the livery from here. You can pick the weights and balances. You can turn on your failure stuff. You can customize it. You can put your own tail code, call sign, flight number stuff, all that right from here. So if, I like to do that here. So like if I want it to be like the tail code we have is the actual tail code for a Lufthansa Junkers 52. So it kind of adds a bit more realism. You can change your weather settings. You can change your time in here. You can turn off the AI traffic flights and stuff, which I keep off because they are just terrible. So yeah, you have that. And then the other way that you can select your aircraft is you can go here to profile, and then you can go to your hangar, and then you hit the X button, and then you can, it's the same menu. And then you push in for L, and it'll give you your livery options for that aircraft. If there's only one, then there'll only be one that'll show up. But anyway, hopefully you get that solved. That's a pain in the butt that, you know, you're not able to get on there. But yeah, sometimes I've had that problem where it's kind of stuck in the corner. But generally, if you exit out, it should clear it up for you. Try to reset your controller to factory settings, and then try getting it updated again, and hopefully that fixes everything for you. But anyway, that's going to be it for today, folks. I will see you all tomorrow. First flight in the morning going to, we're going to be in Ireland, and then we're going to hop over it to Germany again and take this thing to Berlin. So do join us for that, and I will see you all tomorrow then. Until then, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever the case may be in your part of the world. Peace. Live long and prosper.